Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Gertrude Sanders,
Okay. And Ms. Sanders, where do you live? Like what city?
Albany, Georgia.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Albany?
About 28 years now.
Okay. Do you know Melissa Caldwell or Melissa Thornton?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know her?
We was best friends.
Okay. And do you know her daughter?
Yes, I do.
And do you know her name?
The camera tumor.
Okay. Do you know the defendant, Ryan Cooper?
I know him, but not that much.
Okay. Now, Ms. Sanders, I'm going to draw your attention back to March 28, 2022. Did you have the occasion to see Lambria on that day?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to see the defendant, Ryan Cooper, on that day?
Yes.
And where did you see them at?
At his house.
At the defendant's house?
Yes.
Okay, and why were you at the defendant's house?
Melissa called me and said Cal needed her to come pick up the...
This testimony starts out quietly, but pay attention. What begins as a simple ride to pick up a baby quickly turns into the centerpiece of the prosecution's timeline. Jurors often watch for how an ordinary day suddenly spirals into an alleged crime. As you listen, ask yourself, at what moment did this situation become impossible to ignore?
Babe, I think. So she asked me to get her a ride to Ryan's house, and I did.
Okay, so you gave Lambria's mom a ride to the defendant's house.
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember that address or the street it was on?
I know we were at a trailer.
Okay, all right. And when you got there, what did you do?
When we got there, Ryan was sitting in his car. So I got out, and he spoke. And I asked him where Cam, I call her Cam, where Cam was. He pointed at the house. But for some reason, the door was locked, so he went up and unlocked the door for
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
And Melissa was behind me. As I entered the trailer, Cam is standing in the floor with the baby in the middle of her floor. Next thing I noticed, the window all bolted up, and she's rocking her baby back and forth. I spoke to her, and that's when she said she needed help. He was going to kill her. So I told her mama what Cam said as she would enter the door. By that time, Ryan came in the house, and me and Melissa trying to figure out the way to get her out, but he must have caught on, and he snatched the baby out her arm because she was trying to walk past him. He just snatched the baby by the arm out her arm.
She was trying to what? You said
walk past him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
but he wouldn't let her walk past him.
Okay.
So as I remember, he grabbed the baby arm and snatched the baby out of Cam's arm, and they ended up outside on the step, and we was trying to get him away from Cam because he was hitting her and she was holding the baby.
This is one of the most serious moments in the testimony. The witness says she noticed what appeared to be a gun while deciding to call 911. Whether every detail is ultimately accepted is for the jury to determine, but statements like these can significantly influence how jurors evaluate the level of perceived danger during the incident.
He was hitting her?
Yes, he was fighting her, hitting her, and she wouldn't let the baby go. So I was walking down the steps.
Now the focus shifts to the newborn. Testimony involving an infant often carries enormous emotional weight in a courtroom. The prosecution is building a narrative through eyewitness observations rather than conclusions. What do you think would be the most important piece of evidence to corroborate this witness's account?
Because I was trying to get out the way because I noticed he had a gun in front of him up under his shirt. Because I was going to my car to call 911. As I'm walking to my truck, the baby cried because they don't drop the baby on the ground.
When you say they, so you're talking about LaCambria and Ryan?
Well, the camera was holding baby, and how Ryan was not fighting, beating her, the baby fell on his face.
Okay.
I ran back and got the baby and ran to my truck. And I got 911.
And during this time, was LaCambria trying to defend herself, or that you saw?
I remember sitting in my truck, she being on the ground. He still fight her. For some reason, he kicked her or he stopped her. That's when the camera jumped up and she went to fight back.
She went to fighting back?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say fighting back, you mean she was then at that point fighting the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned something about you were going to call 911. Did you call 911?
Yes.
Okay. And did some type of emergency service come to the scene?
The ambulance came and 3.
Here's an interesting detail. According to this witness, recording only began after the alleged victim fought back, not during the earlier confrontation. That's exactly the kind of timing attorneys on both sides often examine, because context can completely change how a video is interpreted.
The officer came, 3 police cars came.
Okay. And while when you called 911, what was everybody doing outside?
Well, let me back up. I remember Ryan coming to my truck. He wanted the baby. But I was screaming at him to get away from my truck because I had locked the door. Because I know he was trying to get the baby, but I was screaming at him like to get away from my truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I had the baby in the truck with me until the ambulance got there. So he was just standing there looking. Oh, and let me back up. When she started fighting him back, I remember him taking his phone out and he started videoing her as if she was an aggressor, I guess.
Okay. Had he taken his phone out when he was hitting her and recorded that?
No, soon as she got up and started fighting back, that's when he started videoing her.
Okay.
So.
And you said you had the baby in the truck. Do you know what age the baby was at this point, or approximately? It's okay if you don't.
No, I had Melissa, but I think he was still I want to say about 4 or 5 weeks. I know it was a newborn.
Okay, all right. And when you said police came, when the police came, did you speak with them?
They spoke to Ryan first.
Okay.
And they finally came back out, and I had to give a statement of what happened.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may approach.
A quick legal note. The witness's written statement has now been admitted into evidence. That doesn't automatically mean every word is unquestionable, but it does give both sides a documented account they can reference throughout the trial. Small details in these statements can become surprisingly important later.
What date are we talking about, please? One more time. I missed that.
It is March 28, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Sanders, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 23. If you could look at that and see if you recognize that.
Yes.
Okay, and how do you recognize that?
I wrote it.
Okay.
And just like that, the defense declines to question this witness. Sometimes that's a calculated strategic decision rather than an oversight. Every unanswered testimony becomes part of the record, leaving the jury to weigh its credibility alongside all the other evidence they'll hear. Based on this testimony alone, how convincing did you find this witness?
And that's a fair copy, an accurate copy of what you wrote on your statement?
Well, it wasn't everything I wrote because I rushed through that, but
yes, ma'am. I wrote. But this is what you wrote?
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, at this time, we would tender State's Exhibit 23, Sanders' statement.
Any objection?
No objection, it being tendered as impeachment evidence, Your Honor.
All right. State's Exhibit 23 is admitted.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Now, Ms. Sanders, after you wrote the statement, did you have any other involvement regarding that particular case?
What you mean?
Did you ever have to do anything else, like testify or go to court or anything
No.
else about that
No.
event? Okay. So that kind of ended your involvement in that event?
Yes.
That day? Okay.
Yes.
And did you ever see the defendant and Cam together again, you personally?
Well, I saw the Cam the next day because she went to her mom's house and we was talking with her about the
Okay.
situation.
Okay. All right. No further questions at this time. The defense may have some questions for you.
No questions for this witness, Your Honor.